My name is Paige, and my SuperCoach team is shitter than yours.
It really is. Very interesting week this week. Lots of injuries and suspensions to talk about, as well as trade options for those. For the best and worst of the week, how about you, Damon? How'd you go with that?
My team was pretty good, like across the entire team. Scored 2,447, and I'm now ranked 55th. Amazing. But I was getting ranked like within the 200.
Very good.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
I cracked 2,400 again. Some quite good players: Cochin, Pendlebury, Mitchell, Nick Rewalt, my unique pick there.
I can't believe you've got Nick Rewalt.
Yeah,
It's paying off.
Adams is the start.
Not that it's a bad thing, but
Very
it's
good.
just very,
Speaking of
very
bad,
Speaking of bad, yeah.
I just want to make it known to people out there that I have been given I've been shit-canned over the last probably 72 hours. And look at this thing behind me.
Yeah.
Look what I'm wearing.
Oh
my
no.
God.
How does it feel, Paige?
I feel dirty.
That's enough, I think.
So what did you score on the weekend?
I scored 2,238.
So respectable score in the big scheme of things, but
It still
when it
makes
comes
me
to
a
this
shit
table,
SuperCoach at
you're
this
absolutely
table. I am.
the worst.
I'm the dunce of the table here. But my highlight this week was definitely putting the captain on Gary Ablett after the vice captain Dane Swan only scored.
Yes.
We say only when we use that briefly, but 127 for Swanee and 160 for Gaz, was it? So that worked out well for me. Taylor Walker, not so much. You're the reason I'm wearing this today, you asshole.
I don't think he would have made up 150 points.
So self.
Yeah, I think we're going to do a graphic here, so it'll show who scored the worst each round. So
running tally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the running, that's going to be so much fun.
yeah. So can we put that up now? You can probably see 010. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
No
I
worries at all.
appreciate that.
Yeah. No. And who was bad for you, Damon, this week? No one.
Probably Pittard's out. That was really the only thing. So I was lucky that I had Turlich.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name? He was my emergency, so he came in and performed pretty well.
Yeah. And Dwyer was the really only bad player for me.
38
Your
points.
boy Dwyer, absolute shithouse.
He was just.
You bagged me about Martin, and he scored 100.
The roller
We're
coaster.
just bringing up old stuff now. This is just pick on Paige Day today.
Yeah.
Really,
Might as
really
well.
is. Yeah.
So
on us.
Damon and I have a little pact that we're going to try and get her wearing a different team's jersey or gear every week. So,
By the end of the year,
I
we
think
want her to have worn each of the 18 teams' colours. So
except for
that'd be a
Collingwood.
challenge.
She can't wear Collingwood
No,
colours.
and there's another one I would be wearing. It's Carlton. You know why? Because
funny
my
that you
dad
mentioned that
will
because
disown me, and
Next
I will
week,
never be welcome home to the family home ever again.
Paige, next week, if you're the lowest scorer,
No.
this is what you'll be wearing.
Yeah.
So the viewers have
touching
this to
me.
look forward to.
Yeah.
This is. I hate my life.
And maybe the week after that, we can have the lovely
Oh,
Geelong
yeah.
Cats from our producer. It's,
Well,
quite a
look, it
beautiful
is the
jumper.
people's challenge, and I lost. So I'm a lady of my word, and
Go Bombers.
go Bombers.
Very nice. Make sure to tweet in using the SCP Show hashtag just to make sure that we get other suggestions of what the loser can do.
Yep.
It's probably going to be Paige, so make it more
Thanks,
tailored to her.
I appreciate that.
We move on to the talking point of the week. Real big injuries to Taylor Walker and Cyril Rioli,
Massive.
who have been in pretty decent form, as well as Bryce Gibbs, which is a very annoying injury to have. Take us through Taylor Walker. I mean,
Look, Tex, I rolled the dice with him this year, and obviously it has not paid off, and I guess Adelaide in general, their form probably reflects that at the moment. But he dropped massively in price, not only just this week, but over the last couple of weeks, his break-even's been rather high, and now we've come to the point now where there is no straight swap option for Tex, which is probably the most degrading thing of all, is that he's gone down with an ACL injury, and we do wish him the best in his recovery, but
And you had the chance to get rid of him when he
I did.
was crap in the early days.
Yeah,
and
but
we warned you.
yes, thank you.
didn't do
That's, again,
Key
we're
position
just
forward,
rubbing
Paige.
it in. Yeah,
What are
but
the rules?
hey, that's all right. You've got to try these things, and I've done it. Never again. But for me, the only option for me this week is that I've traded Tex Walker now. A lot of people have been asking me on Twitter, but how did I get Tex Walker into the midfield? Now, what I've done this week is essentially trade Tex Walker to Joe Botson, my SuperCoach crush, JB. Thank you. Yes, thank you for pointing that one out. I appreciate that. He tore us a new one on Anzac Day. But he basically hit T on Tex, and then hit the S on say if you've got Dwyer or Mays or Kerridge or someone or Nee that's in that midfield group, he comes forward, then you can upgrade Tex to somebody else in midfield, which is the only option for me. So I have a nice little midfield going.
And how much did that cost you, that trade?
I think the difference between those two will probably be about 70 grand.
Well, that's not too bad. That's pretty good.
It's actually quite feasible. So to trade up that, well, actually no, it probably cost me a bit more because I had to trade down elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's probably ends up being about 100k thereabouts. So,
but still, with the output of Watson, I think that's a very decent.
Oh well, look, there's if you're gonna put it that way, considering there's no forward at the moment who's in essentially really good form. I mean, consistently good form.
Nick Riewoldt.
Apart from Nick Riewoldt, we're just rubbing it in again, is that going to the midfield is probably the next best option.
Yeah, I'm talking about Cyril Rioli. 2-month injury, which is quite unfortunate. He's actually been proving us wrong this year, actually, because all the media keeps hyping him up. He's this sensational star, Bruce's love child. And he's actually been performing this year. He's actually been performing, which is kind of sad to see him go down now with the same hamstring injury that's really been dogging him. He's up to 536,000, so you should be able to do a pretty easy trade to someone else.
That's a fair bit of cash, and considering he's got the mid-forward eligibility, it means you can obviously do the same thing and move in between both forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think Damon's going to discuss it a bit later, but Carlton's draw is relatively easy in the coming weeks, so if you could maybe look at getting Andrew Walker or Mitch Robinson into your team, that'd be a pretty good swap there.
Well, for an extra 20k, you can get Mark Murphy.
And
that
as well,
Hang on.
And you, Damon?
I've got Bryce Gibbs. Now, he suffered a hammy injury on the weekend. Whispers were that he's been suffering from a bit of a niggle for quite some time, and he's likely to miss 2 weeks, I think. He's out for the 1, but I reckon they'll be a little bit cautious and maybe have him out for the 2. He's priced at 487,000, and a lot of people are asking on Twitter, should they get rid of him? And I don't think you should at all. He's a premium to me. And downtrade options, I think, Heath Shaw, which he's burnt me in the past. What about you, Joyce?
I hate Heath Shaw.
You hate him as well?
He's so inconsistent.
Well,
he can score.
And traded him out.
So he can score 140 1 week and then 20 the next.
And it averages out to like 80 or something.
Yeah.
So he can burn you in that way. But the other option is Charlie Dixon. Been a bit of a revelation this season. Stepped up for the Suns. But if you're not looking to downtrade, upgrades, Hartlett. He's a really, really good option. He's so
he looks like a genuine A-grader now.
He is, apart from the fact that he has a bit of an injury history behind him, which could sort of off-put you. But apart from that, Birchall. Birchall, I've got him, and I know you've got him. Have you got him?
Yep, I've got him.
Yeah. He's a...
Oh, sorry, I'm doing something right. Jesus.
Watch Birchall break his leg this week.
My God.
But those are two that I'd definitely look at,
Yeah, definitely. And another few headaches that we've gone through. Lots of players.
Ridiculous. This is really #FMSC this week. This is terrible. Look, we're going to go through, a lot of people have been asking us about an array of different players. Now, what we've decided to do tonight is go through just about every one of them that you have asked us to cover, and we're going to go in depth and make sure that we give you those answers that you're looking for. So let's start with, we mentioned him earlier, Jasper Pittard. He's priced at 235,700. Injured with a hip flexor, and word on the street from a source at Port Adelaide is that he might be a bit more of a wait to come back. So we're looking at possibly 2 to 3 more weeks on the sidelines. So he's already had 2, including this week. So he had last week and he'll have this week. That's a month. That's basically a month turnaround. So
break even of 12. So it's not like he can go up massively in price.
Yeah, so if you're using him as a cash cow, probably now's the time to jump off.
Well, I've done that this week. I've traded him down to Roy Laird at Adelaide. He's on the bubble, and although it's not the world's best option, I think to be able to get the money that you'll make out of that trade to use elsewhere in the coming weeks, it's probably worth it, and especially if you're going to use him as a bench option anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of people are probably thinking, who? Rory who?
That's what I said.
So he's priced at 115,000, so pretty low price. Really the only players that you could get around that price are Doherty.
And Jack Frost.
That's about it, and with Luke Brown getting a concussion last week, you really can't say that his job security is bad. He started as the sub last week, but I think he might get some more time, as well as Andy Otten maybe going forward. He might free up some space.
And the other issues with Sam Doherty as well, touching on that too, he's on the bubble, but with Simon Black back this week, we're anticipating that's his job security. Who goes out for Black?
Yeah.
That's the issue. But look, we'll move on to Brett Goods. So 2 weeks suspension. Now he didn't contest that, which is a bit interesting. He didn't
Silly boy.
He would not have been hit with another extra week like Fife. So there was good cause to contest that. But 2 weeks suspension, priced at $331K. He's been averaging 76 in SuperCoach, break even of 11. What do you tell the people that are saying he's out, he's gone?
He's not out. Don't do it. I'm going to brush on it briefly later, but Bulldogs have a very easy run coming up, so definitely hold on.
And for me, he's definitely one. I think every season there's one player who starts off as a mid-price or high rookie price player that you want to keep, and I think Brett Goods is that player.
Yeah.
I'd definitely keep him. I wouldn't get rid of him as long as you've got cover for it. Yeah.
I wouldn't either. I like him at the moment, and if you've got luxury of having, say, Stevenson or Turlig or Doherty or someone like that, on your bench, and you can carry him for the next 2 weeks, then by God, do it.
I mean, a lot of people might be sucked into doing it just because he's got the extra 100,000 value over Pittard, for example, but it's not worth it in the long run. You really need to keep him and just stay
the only reason I would say to trade him is if you can go directly to a premium player.
Even then, I probably wouldn't do it.
One down trade option though that you mentioned, Joyce, earlier was Brandon Ellis from the Tigers. He's priced at 237.
Yeah.
So he's got a break even of -23 because I think you were saying
he was the sub in rounds 2, 3, and 4. And in round 1 he scored 30 starting. Yep. And last week he scored about 130 odd. So his break even's in the negatives. So he's not going to stay that low for long. So if you want to roll the dice with Ellis, then now's the time to do it.
Be a good cash cow option.
And you'll definitely, I think you'll make about 100k on him if you downgrade Goods to him, but I'd definitely keep Goods there. But he's one option if you're going to, if you have.
You could do a straight swap from Pittard to Ellis if you were feeling daring to do so.
Rolling the dice there. Yes. Sam Dwyer, my boy apparently. Sammy D, I do love him, but only 38 against the Bombers on Anzac Day, and he didn't get subbed either, which is terrible. His break even now is up at 36, so we're getting at that pointy end of the jump off time. And like you guys, I think it's time to go, Sammy D. So very, very quiet game, obviously, but the only reason, if you're going to keep him is that he's ranked 2nd at Collingwood for score involvements, and he's ranked 3rd as well at the club for score assists. So basically, putting that simply for you, is that he's an important avenue to Collingwood, for goals. So his job security is there, given the decimated injury list Collingwood have at the moment, someone like him isn't going to be pushed out of the side. So you have that solace in knowing that he's going to get a gig each week. But when it comes to scoring, I'm not quite sure we'll see him back up at that 100 odd that he had against Carlton.
I think early on,
I enjoyed that game.
We're going to talk about it. Just wait until you wear the Carlton jumper next week. No. Enjoy that. What was I going to say? With Dwyer early on, his job security was looking pretty ordinary, but as you say, with
so many injuries,
it now opens up. So now he's going to have more of an opportunity to stay on the side, despite the fact that Crack is still to come back and a few others as well.
Yeah.
Final word: keep or trade?
I'm trading him. He's gone.
I'm trading him as well.
Bam.
Another player that's helped by injury is Brent McCaffer. Alan Tuvey unfortunately went down. He was really the shining light of Collingwood's backline
probably
this year.
The most underrated player at Collingwood.
McCaffer, for people that stayed with him all year, good job, because he's going to go up a bit more in price. And I don't see him really, losing his spot. His job security is pretty good. He's got a friendly roll-off half-back now with Tuvey out.
Yeah, now Nathan Buckley said in the media just a couple of days ago that he will now embrace that roll-off half-back. He's deceptively quick, McCaffer. He is. He's got a bit of closing speed and he reads the play well, and, I think that he'll probably fill that role enough for the time being, but it's still enough to warrant selection on the side. He's been given first crack at it, so keep him.
Yep, keep for me.
And Nat Fife.
Yes.
Have you guys got him?
Nope. I've got him.
Ooh.
I've got him, and I'm going to keep him.
You're going to keep him?
I selected him from the start of the season with the intention of keeping him throughout the... I think he's a premium for me.
He is a premium,
Totally agree, yep.
So I definitely keep him. It's a bit awkward now, because I think, was he suspended for 1 initially? And then
and then he challenged it.
But he's not re-challenging that again. He's not... The reappeal is...
I think you got burned too much.
Yeah, I think so. But 2 weeks on the sidelines through kicking Daniel Jackson. I don't know, was there much in there?
Not really, but...
Did he deserve it? Did he deserve it?
Worse than it was, but...
I think he was stupid to challenge it. I think he should have taken the 1 week.
I think I would have taken it 1, but for those that want to trade-off Nat Fyfe, who were decimated by injuries in SuperCoach this week. Now, we've sussed out a couple of options. For an extra 20k, you can sub him to the forward line and get in, obviously, Lance Franklin. If you're requiring more midfielders, then Sammy Mitchell and Mark Murphy. We're going to touch on Hawthorn and Carlton more in depth later. But if you've got the extra cash up your sleeve and you're talking above 40 and 50k, JPK, Birchall, if you can trade him to the back line, be fantastic options there as well.
Yep, be good. David Mundy been underperforming for Fremantle, as well as many players at Fremantle.
I think really. Fremantle are unfortunately going through one of those patches at the moment where they're very ordinary.
Yeah, and they're still getting wins, unfortunately.
They are,
yeah. I mean, they play the Gold Coast this weekend, so they've got potential to do some decent scoring. So if you've got him, reckon hold on to him for at least one more week.
I think so too. If David Mundy is one of the players that you're struggling with at the moment, I think keep the faith with him because we know what he's capable of, especially when it comes to scoring. And I mean, Daniel Pearce, we'll touch on him as well. He's gone from being a very unique defender to a very mediocre defender. Yeah. He's not even really unique anymore because everyone's jumping off him. So
and Mundy's averaging 95. So if he's the biggest problem, you've got a pretty good.
Yeah. And that basically brings us to Sam Jacobs. Now, I said pre-production here that if Sam Jacobs is a player that you are getting the shits with this week, my God, you were lucky.
Yeah.
If that is the worst thing that's happened to you this week, in the worst SuperCoach week of probably all we've had in about a year, you're doing pretty well.
Averaging 91, so...
What are you whinging about? Bloody hell. I tell you what, but... He's priced at sub 500 now. So basically, as a ruckman, as a premium ruckman, he's not worth anything because there's no one to really trade down to.
There've been no outstanding ruckman this year.
No, they haven't.
So I would keep Jacobs if you've got him.
Yep. Yeah. There's plenty of upside.
Yeah, and another Adelaide player, Paddy Dangerfield. You're
quite familiar with him, Paige.
I think I'm going to dedicate a segment to Paddy D every weekend now because he's just the source of my frustrations. He really is. You just said before that he's got a bit of a knee niggle.
He does, and I think that's why he's, scoring a little low. It's harder for him to get to contests. It's harder for him to shake a tag. And now with Tex Walker going down, he'll have to play in the forward line.
I think he will too. And I don't know how Adelaide...
scoring,
I don't know how Adelaide are going to turn their form around. They've got no key forwards to obviously to hit up. Dangerfield, we saw in 2011 and 2010 how damaging he can be up in the forward line. I mean, the good thing is he's a goal kicker. But when players move forward, and this is what the point I'm trying to make is that if Dangerfield starts spending at least 40% time forward, then his ability to rack up contested possessions, clearances, tackles, those 1%ers that are rated so highly in SuperCoach, and his effectiveness is going to drop completely.
I think it's not going to affect you so much like in Dream Team, but SuperCoach, I think it's definitely going to affect him.
Definitely. And have we got anyone else? Is that about it?
No, that's about it for this week.
I reckon that's a fair list of players. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But look, we'll move straight into tweet of the week. Now, remember, guys, you can hashtag SCP show. And if your tweet is read out on the show, you'll win a $100 Mid Tours voucher. So if you're a big fan of skiing, snowboarding and surfing, minttours.com, get down to Jared and he'll look after you. Yeah,
make sure you follow us all on Twitter as well, to be sure, and as well as Mint Tours.
Yeah, well, you've got to be following Mint Tours.
Yeah, I've got to be following him. Mine comes from Jack Davies. Hi, Jack. He basically said, to trade or not to trade, how many trades should we have left? Now, right now, I've got 25 trades left, which I think is pretty decent.
I think that's part
I'm going to be using 2 this week just because of all these injuries. You've really got to set yourself up for the best season possible. And with the extra trades we've been given this year, you could be a bit more frivolous with your trades. I mean...
I reckon a good way of looking at it is thinking, well, we've got 30 trades this year. We had 24 last year. So if you were trading once a week for 6 weeks and we're down to 24, you're basically starting last year's season now.
Yeah,
exactly right.
And you would have a much more complete team as well.
Exactly.
So, all good. How many trades do you have left, by the way?
20... After this week, will probably be about 22.
Yeah. I'm about the same, 22, 23.
Yeah.
I think
so if you've got about that, you're on par and you're doing good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're getting a Mid Tours.
My tweet is from Tim Carrier. Which midfield premium should we be targeting first? Watson, Swan, Cochin or Stevie J? Honestly, I think that the most consistent scorers have been Watson and Cochin. Cochin probably at the moment is think you just look at you. Bloody hell, Brownlow Cochrane.
He deserves his Brownlow.
I think out of those four at the moment, Stevie J's scoring is erratic. Dane Swan and Collingwood in general aren't really overly impressing at the moment. And Watson, I mean, he's my SuperCoach crush. I love him. I've traded him in this week. But if you haven't got Cochin, I think he's your first port of call because last week, before the last quarter, he was walking around like a pirate with a wooden leg. He was just limping. He
hooking the ball.
He was just decimated to the forward line. He was doing nothing, and then he does those superhero things and racked up a score of 140. So for money for value there, you're paying for what you get, and Cochin would be my number one, followed by Joe Bosson.
Attaboy, Koch. And how about you, Damon? Your tweet?
And mine's a bit different. The tweet that came in this week was from two fans that I was lucky enough to meet at my girlfriend Ashley's sister's party.
Oh, drop the girlfriend.
Yes, she's
Hi,
sorry,
Ashley.
ladies, he's taken.
I met them. One was Chris and Kevin. They dwarfed me. They're like 6 foot whatever. And
6 foot stupid.
But it's good though. It's good to see that we've actually got some viewers, and they're from Aiken College. So big shout out to Aiken.
You got noticed.
Yes, I got noticed. It's a bit strange, actually. I was just standing there, just chatting away, and all of a sudden they come over. They're like, "Oh my god, I know you from SuperCoach Paige."
Yeah. So if you see us around,
he's from SuperCoach Paige.
see if you can get a photo with us, and we'll put it on the show if you want.
Yeah, we'll do that. If you see us, then let us know, and we'll put it on the show.
Yep. Moving into junk time now. We're just going to do it a bit differently. Maybe a couple of tips, some extra tips for the round. So what have you got, Paige?
My SuperCoach tip this week, for those of you that are thinking about Buddy or Sam Mitchell or anyone at Hawthorn, especially maybe Birchall too, the Hawks this week face Adelaide. They also then face Sydney, and then they've got 4 byes in a row.
Buys.
GWS, Gold Coast, Melbourne, and then the actual bye. So those should be those should be 3 comfortable wins there, and I would tip the Hawks win at least 4 of those.
Yep.
I'm looking at Gary Ablett. Now, last time they're, of course, facing Freo this week. Last time he played them, he scored a whopping 185 points.
You're joking.
It was Reece Palmer tagging him though, not Ryan Crowley. So you got to.
That is true.
That is true. I did my research.
You did the research.
That old chestnut.
Yeah.
But I'd definitely look at him. I consider him nonetheless, though.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was looking at was Carlton. Now, Carlton's draw. This week they're playing Melbourne, next week St Kilda, week after that Port, then Brisbane, then GWS. So if you've got players like, well, Gibbs is unfortunately
That's why I hate Gibbs.
The next 2 weeks. If he was playing, he would be scoring off the charts. But if you've got Scotland, Murphy, Walker even, you'd probably be expecting some decent scores.
That's probably more incentive to even look at Mark Murphy and Heath Scotland this week. People that are looking at even Andrew Walker's going to have a field day.
Definitely, yeah. And even Mitch Robertson likes to bully those younger up-and-coming teams. So
chance to get back in some form.
Yeah. My 2 are basically Brett Goods. Don't trade him out. He returns from his 2-game suspension where the Dogs have 2 hard games coming up, but then they've got Gold Coast, St Kilda and Port Adelaide. So some pretty easy games before they bye there. And as well, Brisbane, I would be hesitant to trade in Brisbane players because they've got a horror run of games coming up. They've got Sydney, West Coast, Essendon, Carlton, Collingwood, and the bye. Fremantle, Geelong and Hawthorn.
Goodbye, Vossi.
Wow, I hope you've enjoyed your coaching tenure, Vossi.
I'd be surprised if they won 1 or 2 games out of that. Like, it's pretty ridiculous.
Jeez.
So,
if he wasn't feeling the pressure now, he is.
I mean, you've got players like Doherty and Paparone that could come in, but you've really got to struggle to see.
They're mucked up the first couple of games of the year. But I'll throw one more out there. Josh J. Kennedy, so he's become a premium for basically all of us now. Last time he met the Western Bulldogs, he scored 10 goals and he had 190 SuperCoach points.
Very nice.
The Bulldogs will be different from the last time they met, but if I don't know if Jordan Ruffhead's going to be able to withhold him in the way that he and Darwin
we'll have to double team, I think.
If one isn't scoring, the other will.
Yep.
So I think that's a really good insight for West Coast for sure.
That's about it for this week.
Ladies, that wraps it up. I'm happy to get out of this Essendon gear. Congratulations, Essendon fans.
Make sure you're following us on Twitter and following us on Facebook as well. And really, we want more interaction from you guys. So text us in, use the SCP Show hashtag.
Yep.
We'd love to hear questions for you. Even if you're not in Tweet of the Week, we'll discuss what you want to talk about in
You
the
can always, and
topics.
every week we do jump on Facebook and put it to you guys out there what you want to see on this week's show. So we do listen, and we have tonight, and we hope you've enjoyed the round 6 episode of SCP. Catch you later. Go Pies.
Go Tigers.
Go Blues.